Yo, what up? It's your boy Soulo. Now we're back here again with another one. And today's going to be about what are dreams. And dreams is how we are creating our physical existence. And what do I mean by that? That is the first mechanisms to create physical existence that we are experiencing right now before your eyes, before your physical eyes. So when you're having dreams, you are aware of what's going on in your dreams, and it plays out more fluid. And the key word is fluid. The physical existence is fluid also, but it's more dense. So this is what our spirits are doing. And what a spirit is just your own individual space. And there's different types of spaces within spaces, different types of spirits within spirits. And we live inside of a spirit, what we call Earth, the universe, whatever, you want to call it. So a spirit is just your space, and how that space came to be, your spirit developed an intelligence, an awareness, a mind, the spark of something, an idea. That idea, navigated, traveled, experienced, had imaginations, had concepts, perspectives, until, it is picking momentum, and that momentum is what we call evolution. We keep becoming more aware and aware. And, this is what we're doing as spirits, expanding our space, our spirit. This is why, we're human and we have more capabilities and abilities and more awareness than any other species on Earth, which is, a spiritual school where we all evolve and interact with each other, becoming aware with each other and shit like that. So, the spirit develop a mind, an intelligence, and awareness, and that's a fluid. Those are waters, imaginations that we can develop, and that imagination, that dream, that fluid, because your dreams are fluid. When you're having dreams, you can imagine anything. You can change things very, very quickly because it's fluid. And that's how we are creating our experiences, your physical experience right now. But it takes, a team to do this, a collective conscious. And, we are subconscious first, aka spirits in awarenesses in the subconscious bubble to create this physical existence. So, just to break it down, your spirit developed the mind and awareness. That's what it's externalizing using the masculine energy, the mind, the mentality. And, however it's gravitating to ideas and perspectives that it can, allow it in its space, in its spirit, which is what we're all doing physically anyway. We like to think of ideas and perspectives that we can be in, imagine in, and this is how we build ourselves as spirits, what we allow in our spaces, our spirits. So it's the same thing in your dream. However your thoughts and feelings are, your thoughts is the masculine, your ideas, your mentalities, your emotions is the womb, the vibrations, how you nurture yourself, how you connect with things, how you stabilize yourself, and how you connect, how you connect to things that, vibrate in your space. So it's the masculine is the frequency, what it can produce. The feminine will be the vibrations. So frequency becomes vibrations, and vibrations become physical. And this is what our spirit is doing. And your dream is a fluid. You're able to travel and imagine things and become more free, like more than the physical realm, because that's how we are first. That's our first body. It's our, our mind. Your first body is the mind. And that mind is what's condensing into physical reality. And this is what we're all doing together to shape our reality, because we cannot exist alone in our own mind and become physical. God has already expanded. And this is how we are playing out. It's reflections of, thoughts and feelings. Feminine, masculine and feminine playing out in this, interactional field that we call Earth. All species and animals are able to interact with each other, and it all shares the same ideas and concepts of this higher being that we live inside, aka what we call God or whatever. But it's just another being just like us, the way we are experiencing right now. And it's we need to understand how we are, we need to understand what dreams are, because the lack of awareness of what people think dreams is, thinking that your brain is just tricking yourself to having all these types of illusions or whatever, is while we're stuck in this world, just existing with all these programs and systems, and is the lack of awareness and comfortability that keeps us stuck and not in search, because people came up with this concept and idea that they think it's impossible to know the truth, which is far from the truth, and that's their subjective belief. That's what they believe in. And if that's what you believe in, then that becomes your reality. That becomes your illusion. And that illusion might feel real based on, you thinking you will never know. And that you, by thinking you will never know, is what you allowed in your space, in your spirit. So by you thinking that, that's what the universe gave you. Everything that you have learned, biases, indoctrination, it can all be true to a certain extent, but that's a limitation that has been placed upon you. And also, not the people who gave you that type of knowledge, they don't know any better either, because these are descendants and families from colonizers that destroyed the native people who were already connected to the land, and they were already connected to themselves. They already knew that we are all connected with each other and with the land, with the nature itself. So if you are disconnected with nature, then you're not going to be connected with yourself, with who you truly are. And that takes a spiritual journey, that takes a lot of shadow work, that takes a lot of realization, that takes, you knowing that you're just one drop from the ocean. You're just one person, just like everybody else. But you can't think about just yourself. You can't be in an ego and think, it gets tricky though, because you can still be in an ego, even if you think like everybody else, because everybody's stuck in the ego. And what I mean by that is, once you develop that awareness and belief and knowledge that you think you cannot go any further, and you're just stuck on a religious or a scientific belief, then that's the same mentality as the people who colonized the whole world. That's their belief. That's how that's the only reason they're colonizing everything in the first place, because they don't know the truth. They don't know what the natives knew, the native Indians. Um, Shout out to Dolo the Pilot Man, Archangel Uriel, and you know, by them just colonizing and taking over and conquering and killing a lot of people and just raping and destroying cultures, that's self-explanatory of them not knowing themselves. They actually think they have to do all of those things to, you know, be in some type of spiritual space, when that wasn't even necessary to do in the first place. You know, the natives didn't want to do that. They were peaceful. They actually wanted to teach, you know, the colonizers their way, and they wanted to, you know, make peace with them. But, you know, things just happen, and the colonizers, you know, there's always going to be bad eggs and stuff like that, you know, spirits who just want more, and they get greedy, and they just get lost in the ego, and they get lost in their animalistic natures. See, we're here to evolve out of animalistic ways, just as you see in the animal kingdom and all these type of species evolving. And we're, as humans, we're more intelligent, and we're able to comprehend more, and we're able to, you know, show compassion and feelings, and connect with one another. And, you know, animals are still doing this. You can see it with your dogs and cats, and, you know, things of that nature. But animals do it, I mean, humans do it more. So, everything that's alive has thoughts and feelings, just in their own percentage level of doing so. And, you know, that's masculine and feminine. To externalize and internalize, and, you know, frequency, vibration is all the same thing. And, you know, if we have the better understanding of what dreams is, we can actually change the world, because once the spirit expands their awareness, different energies play out, different actions play out. You will want change for yourself and change for the environment by default. Like, you're gonna see, once you see the truth, you will want better. But if you're too fixated in your belief of what, you know, what you think it is, then it will never change, because you're trying to leave this earth without any accountability and responsibility of actually trying, which doesn't make any sense. That's self-serving, and that's going to hell in your own mind. And how does that look like? You know, you actually thought how it is playing out in reality is the closest thing to reality in existence. You didn't imagine anything else beyond that. So people have to wake up, because it's not about you. It's about God and nature, and how to understand further beyond your ego and biases. And this is going on a spiritual journey. So people who are lost in their minds, lost in some type of, you know, synthetic belief or bias, is going to repeat those same type of characteristics, you know, in a, you know, if, let's say if you only cared about working and going home and repeating the same thing, you know, going home, working, going home, and enjoying yourself. And there's nothing wrong with these things, but this is what you're going to keep on doing because we're all going to experience, we're going to be born again, reincarnate, just like you were born through your parents in human form and more expanded vessel. We see the same thing going on in other species, just an evolutionary cycle. So we're going to keep on doing this until we experience more awareness and obtain, a more advanced vessels. But there's already more advanced vessels. It's just about developing your awareness to get there the proper way and to be aligned with nature. And you can't be in an ego like that, because being lost in your mind is, you'll be spiritually stagnated. And when you're spiritually stagnated, you will play out the same spiritual routine that you resonate the most. And that would look like, a capitalistic society that only sees the physical reality. So that's what you will resonate the most. And that's what it is, because, people actually think the brain is what, the brain is what's tricking you into dreaming or something, which is nonsense, because your dreams can feel real, and that's what it is. That's why it feels real, because that's your first body before it becomes physical. That's what's condensing into physical reality and creating our natures around us, But I'm gonna just leave it at that, and I'll catch you later. Peace.